Okay, so this was the morning free response question, and we've already
Offered.
You don't make me correct you in front of everybody, so for years to come, people will hear me correcting Noah on the video. They're like wondering, who was that Noah? Who's talking? Watching. Or infamous, one or the other. Okay, so find the value of R. R is the radius of convergence. Did you find that to be 1/2?
Yep. Of course I did.
Okay, no? So, what do we what is it necessary that we write? What do we have to write? What do we have to write? The limit as n approaches infinity of the absolute value -1 to the n plus 1, 2 to the n over n. Oh, I did that wrong, didn't I? Sorry. So this would be 2 to the n plus 1, x minus 1 to the n plus 1 over n plus 1 times n would go in the numerator, everything else in the denominator.
But I think your first, the -1 to the n plus 1 needs to be to the n plus 2.
Okay. All right, just give me a sec. Okay, so this would be -1 to the n plus 1, 2 to the n plus 1, x minus 1 to the n plus 1?
No plus 1 on the 2.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm writing plus 1. So it's just n, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I don't know why I was writing plus 1. You guys know that there's no plus 1.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So now, because it's absolute value, we can ignore the negative. And then when we take the limit as n approaches infinity, the n's go to 1. 2 to the n over n plus 1 becomes 2 on the top. And it's going to be times x plus 1 x minus 1, and that whole thing is less than 1. Are we good? Now, to find our radius of convergence, this is what he was saying. To find the radius of convergence, we really don't have to find the interval of convergence. We can find the radius of convergence by dividing it by 2. Because if we have the absolute value of x minus 1 is less than 1/2, this tells me my radius of convergence, provided my coefficient is 1. So if that coefficient is 1 here, then we can just look at this and say this is our radius of convergence and not go any further. Okay? But what is the key takeaway here? What must you write?
Limit.
The limit as n approaches infinity. It will cost you a point for not writing that. Okay? And it has to follow you until you actually take the limit. It has to follow you until you take the limit. Okie dokie? All right. So then, how much was that worth? 1 point for the answer, I think. 1 point for setting up the ratio test, and 1 point for where you have 2x minus 1 is less than 1. Okay? Those were your 3 points came from. All right, B, find the first non-zero term and the general term for f prime, the derivative of f about x equals 1. So most people got this correct. Okay? So, by the way, what do you think the average was on this one? The average score? 2.99? I think it was 3.1. I think it was like 3.1.
419.
Okay? So, and this is a strictly BC question, so that was the only thing we had to go by. So to find the derivative, we could do it one of two ways. How can we find the derivative? We can find the derivative of the nth term, or we can find the derivative term by term. Which one do you prefer?
Term by term.
Term by term. So what did you get when you took the derivative term by term?
2 minus 4 times x minus 1 plus 8 minus x minus 1 squared.
Okay? Did everybody get that? And I think you got 2 points for finding the first two terms, and then 1 point for the nth term. And the nth term would have been, remember when we find the nth term, we treat all of this like a, what? Constant, or coefficient. So then, the only thing would be the n's would cancel, and we'd end up with x minus 1 to the n minus 1 times all of this. Okay? So I was trying to keep it up there so I could write it. So it's negative 1, n plus 1, 2 to the nth, x minus 1 to the n minus 1.
Do they have, this is a question, right? Do they have to write for n is greater than 1 on there, or n is greater than or equal to 1? Because you can't have an n equals 0 anymore, right? Now that you're n minus 1, but we can.
No, they don't have to write that. Okay? All right, the last one is the one that most people could not do. Now going over what you did for the afternoon free response, what do you think your answer should be?
The whole answer?
Well, what is the value of r?
Negative 2 times x minus 1.
So if that is the value of r, what is s of n?
2 over 2x minus 1.
Does everybody understand how she got that? What's wrong, Mia? Okay. Got a look on your face. Did everybody understand how she got that? Yes? Yes? We all understand? Because she used, for those in the listening audience, she used the formula a over 1 minus r. So our initial term was 2, and it would be 1 minus our value of r that we got here. So that's negative 2, x minus 1, and it comes up to that. Okay? But that was not our answer. What was our answer? What did they ask us to find? That's f prime, and they wanted to know f. So if this is f prime and we want to know f, what do we have to do? Take the integral. So we had to integrate 2 over 2x minus 1. And we have to use u substitution. Don't forget to use substitution. So you end up with 2 over 2. Does everybody know where I got that 2 from? The natural log of 2x minus 1. And look, they weren't finished torturing you. You had to do plus c. Okay? How do we find our initial condition? What is our initial condition? Yes, you're not done. They really tortured you on this problem because what is for x?
Either n equals 1 or now.
So when x is 1, what is y?
Yeah, because that's the center, right? Because that's
Mhm.
what we're doing now.
So when x is 1, what is y?
X is 1 plus 1 plus 1, 2.
0.
Mm-hmm.
Y is it 0?
Because
But 0
1 minus 1
0.
is 0. And that would make the entire thing 0. Am I right?
Yes. And also, if you look at it, the original term, like the initial term, started with x, which tells us that our initial term, f of 1, has to be 0 by the Taylor series. So either way. Okay, so then c then ended up equal to 0, so the answer is, and I said y, I probably shouldn't have said y, the natural log of 2x minus 1. That was worth 3 points, and I don't think anyone got that.
I was going to ask how many people in your class, but I didn't get anyone get all 3.
No, I'm kind
Wait, how is it split up though?
each one was worth 3. How was it split up for this? You got 1 point for, I think, finding the sum.
Okay.
You got 1 point for integrating, and you got 1 point for the final answer.
So does integrating mean just the plus C part? And then
Integrating means going from this to the natural log, the antiderivative, finding the antiderivative,
finding C.
but not finding C. Okay? And no one got that, but it's okay. Why is it okay?
Curve.
AP curve.